Okay, good morning to you all. The world is producing new knowledge every day, especially subjects like philosophy and psychology are two distinct disciplines which are being developed with the advancements of the research world. That is why the Department of Philosophy and Psychology has initiated this weekly lecture series in order to enable students to reach the updated knowledge while linking them with the international academia. Today is organized by the Department of Philosophy and Psychology in the University of Jayewardenepura. Before moving to the session, I would like to invite Professor Yaparatna Veerasekara, the head of the Department of Philosophy and Psychology, to welcome you all on behalf of the department.
Good morning, all of you. It is my pleasure to welcome all on behalf of the Department of Philosophy and Psychology, University of Sri Jayewardenepura. This weekly lecture series is conducted aiming to enhance the knowledge of the undergraduates of the department and to aware them with the latest advancement of the subject field. It is the first lecture that we are organizing today of series of the lectures. I would like to warmly welcome the guest speaker to today's session, Dr. Yuvaraj T, Assistant Professor of Psychology from Manonmaniam Sundaranar University in Tamil Nadu. Also, I am sincerely welcome our Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, all staff members, students, and every who are enrolled in the program today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Asha Fernando, a senior lecturer of the Department of Philosophy and Psychology, to introduce the guest speaker of the session today.
It is my pleasure to introduce Professor Dr. Yuvaraj, the Department of Psychology, and he is the present head of the department, the University of Manonmaniam Sundaranar Tirunelveli, India. Actually, he is well aware with the different, he is not limited for the clinical psychological purpose, with the counseling as well, the school psychology, educational psychology are the major. As well, he used to work with the research area on internet behavior, health, and specialization. As well, the degree, the one from MSc Psychology from the University of Madras. In addition to that, he has done MSc in Yoga from the Tamil Nadu Sports University, and he's a yoga master itself. As well, he's having the MPhil on the University of on Psychology, University of Madras. He's having many awards. So in this moment, I cannot share the all, but I got selected few of them. The one is he got a best award for the paper title, The Global Well-Being in the Relation of Yoga Practice in the 10th International Conference on India Academic Applied Psychology. And he also became a champion of the Yogasana in 2006, which was held in the Tamil Nadu Yogasana Champion program in 2006. And as a professional in the field of psychology, he is deserving his service as a psychologist in a cancer institute in Chennai. As well, he also the director of the Department of Youth Welfare in the University of Manonmaniam Sundaranar. and he's representing a different board of psychological studies, and he's the university nominee of the board of studies in psychology as well. He has presented several presentations in national, international conferences as well. He has organized several international conferences as conferences. He is one of the active member in the National Academy of Psychology in India as well. He's a life member of Indian Academy of Applied Psychology, and he's a life member of South Asian Society for Criminology and Victimology. Within his publication, I selected few which are relevant for our today discussion. He's a co-author of Global Wellbeing in Relation to Yoga Practice, and he's a co-author the Spirituality and Exploration of Factor Structure article published at the National Academy of Psychology in India. And he has done the research on sexual violence through cell phone in Tamil Bharani, a student lab journal. As well, he's a co-author of Influence Parenting Style on Emotional Stability of Adolescent Girls, which was published in the Psychology of Women, the Emerging Research and Strategies. As well, he's a co-author of case studies on the parents suffering from HIV, AIDS, and their psychological well-being, which was published in the Psychology of Women, Emerging Research and Strategies seminar proceeding. He has published several articles with a different discipline of psychology. So, as well, he has done as an editor for important conference proceeding. The one is the Psychology of Women, and the other one, he worked as an editor, the Cognitive Science in India, the Winning Young Scientists, published by TR Publication. He also the editor of the Psychology for Global Happiness. As well, he has done several seminars, workshops, and one of the important area he worked, that is the stay safe as cyber space, cyber security empowerment of its teaching community. This is a very important contribution for the present society. Internet addiction test by the Young Indian Validation. That was the one important empirical studies he has done. As well, he presented the paper at one of the international conference, that is excessive smartphone use and its effect on the motor development of children. And he is running different projects. One is excessive use of cell phone and its health consequence among the college student, and influence of excessive internet use on health and academic performance of adolescent school students. Dear Professor Yuvaraj, and I'm inviting from you to deliver the today lecture on internet addiction, addiction psychological perspectives, because this subject is very much important for the modern or current day young generation. So, Professor, now I'm inviting for you to deliver on your lecture.
Thank you, Professor Fernando. Thank you for that elaborative CV of mine, and thanks for this opportunity to you as well as Mura, who have brought me here to University of Sri Jayewardenepura. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So thank you, Professor, the head, Professor Yaparatna, and others, all the professors who are here in this session, for giving me this opportunity to present my this topic on internet addiction, which is probably my 6 to 7 years of research and reading on internet addiction. And a very good morning to all the students and all the other listeners of my session. Lecture on internet addiction, psychological perspectives. I think Yeah, I always start with video of in any session to make it on a lighter note, and also every video has a strong message than what we convey in terms of words. So this particular advertisement is all familiar to many of us. This has a caption, "What an idea, Sir G."
अंदर कहाँ आ गए? बच्चे को स्कूल में पढ़ाना है, एडमिशन फुल है। चल भाई साहब, गांव में स्कूल नहीं है तो कैसे पढ़ेगी? मेरे पोती को भर्ती करो। गांव में स्कूल नहीं है तो कैसे पढ़ेगी? अरे वो पढ़े।
एक स्कूल में सबको कैसे पढ़ाऊं? आइडिया।
Good morning, children.
Good morning, children.
Chup.
Good morning, teacher. Bolo.
Good.
2 3s are 6.
2 3s are 6.
2 5s are
4.
Teacher, elephant.
कौन करे मस्ती? गोपी, मुर्गा बन जाओ।
Q4. S4.
And the best student of the year is Lakshmi Raghav.
Sarchi.
What an idea, Sarji.
It's more than 10 years old. A decade before, this particular advertisement was screened, probably to sell a SIM card, the idea SIM card, but it applies today very well. Okay, probably a decade before, people would have thought what nonsense is this? How can children be learned through cell phones and all? Now it is happening. It is happening with the help of internet. Now, the internet is one technology that has created a paradigm shift globally. Today we are able to connect. We are connect with every nook and corner of the world. That's how today it is happening. Now, a person somewhere sitting in the south of Tamil Nadu and addressing you all in somewhere in Sri Lanka. So it is possible because of this internet. And yes, definitely it's an idea. It's an idea of where we get knowledge, we get information, we get many things on the internet which is not possible which were not possible otherwise. So in that way, yes, we are lucky, and yes, internet has made a lot of change to such an extent that today personality, it has even shifted, made a huge shift on the personality. Okay, here and there I will yeah. If you have any questions, you can reserve it on the chat box, or maybe we will discuss it towards the end of my session. So what is happening in the internet is what is our today. There is a great lot of shift in the personality of children who are born after 2000. We call them as the net geners. In fact, there are Gen Z as Generation Z has emerged. In fact, it is even another generation has come, where it is there's one book called Grown Up Digital by Don Tapscott, which was published in 2009. He says that today's generation are the smartest generation. Now, meaning the IQ itself has enhanced. Today, the IQ level was earlier, or the average IQ was somewhere 115, 20. Today, the IQ itself, an average child IQ has increased far better. Now, the generation is considered as the smartest generation because they are quicker, and they accept diversity. Today, they are tolerant to diversity. Because we are in a classroom, we have students of different cultures. So all those boundaries have been broken up. And in such way, in many different arts, we have the diversity of culture, a diversity of, we are tolerant to many diversities. And today's generation are the initiators. You have you see youngsters who initiate, who collaborate, who organize, who read a lot. Who read today? You have abundant of knowledge on the internet that you find today's youngsters are voracious readers. And yes, they are also writers. They create blogs, they create websites, podcasts. So they are creators. Today they are creators. And you youngsters, unlike us, today's youngsters discuss a lot. They argue, they critic, they're very good critics upon anything. And you just can't cheat. You just can't cheat them, because immediately they'll find out whatever. Because now is my session. Whatever I'm discussing, there may be one or few of you students who are parallelly checking these things, browsing on the internet, checking whether am I true or not. This is happening. And there is information for everything. You name a word, there is the A to Z of all of that available on the internet. And youngsters are crazy enough to catch up all those things. Now on these lines, whatever I've been researching for the past 7 years, this is a compilation of what I've been doing these years. And Hansen wrote a book in 2007, How Cell Phones and the Internet Changed, where she beautifully gave how there has been a change in our in the world with once the internet has emerged. It's a beautiful book that gives a lot of pleasures that we are able to attain. What are the benefits, everything, how our lifestyles have changed, lifestyles in the way of dressing, in the way of eating. Today, in our rural kitchen, somebody is cooking Turkish chicken, and which is not possible earlier. It's not possible to cook a Turkish chicken or Mughlai biryani on a remote village in south of probably in south of Tamil Nadu or Sri Lanka. But this is happening now because of this internet. You go check the YouTube, everything is available. You can prepare the recipe. So sometimes have a feel of whether we are in our own home or somewhere in a star hotel. All kind of things happens because of this internet. And in 2014, there was a issue in Outlook where it also spoke about how the introduction of mobile phone has totally changed our behaviors, the lifestyle of people. So it was issued in 2014 in Outlook, and how it changed the way we think, we play, everything. So that was all the positivities that we are getting about the internet. And but on the other hand, what is happening? Just in 6 months, the very Outlook magazine, which said how positively this mobile phone is changing our lives. Then in 6 months, that is in April 2015, it came with another issue called, which said that the smartphones are making you stupid. Okay, so that was a totally contradictory thing that it came up with. It said that there are some peculiar things that two peculiar things that it said cognitive miscellaneous is happening. That is, the youngsters or even everybody are failing to use the maximum of their brains. For every smallest information, they're trying to get the benefit of internet, because of which they fail to remember that they have their own brains, which are much more effective. So that they have failed, and thereby, as a result of this, IQ is actually declining. There are other studies they quoted where they say that IQ is actually diminishing. IQ in actual terms, it means that we fail to use the maximum potential of our brain, maximum possible potential of our brain. For instance, this is a recent video that I got somewhere in WhatsApp. I wanted to share what to help us know what is this cognitive miscellaneous.
How many minutes are in a kilometer?
Is it like 87?
87, close. Down a little bit.
63?
85.
85?
85 is correct! High five, hell yes.
Woo!
Who was the first person to land on the sun?
So it's actually distance is not measured in minutes, which that poor girl is not able to recognize that. So that is what this person is criticizing.
Lance something, Lance.
Lance Armstrong is correct. Pretty hot, the sun, right? To land on.
Lance Armstrong is actually an athlete, and nobody has landed on the sun.
The heat of the sun.
What country is Venice, Italy located in for $100? Do you have any clue?
Gosh, I'm going to be a teacher, so I should know this.
You probably should.
Paris?
Venice, Italy is located in Paris.
That's right?
That is correct. There you go. Thank you so much for participating. Today I'm asking people, what is the smallest country in the world? Any clue?
Paris?
Paris? Okay, good. But which Paris? The one in Vegas or the one in Italy? You guys know?
Italy, yeah.
Yep. Italy, they're correct. Wow, Americans are so intelligent. Where is Madagascar located on a map?
Germany?
Like Germany, like over there? Germany?
No, like Germany over there.
Over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course the authenticity of this video is unknown, but still this is how it is. Now probably this is what Albert Einstein said: "If we are the day, a generation of idiots." Probably so. Now that's the one important gadget is probably responsible for this or the medium that is impossible, maybe this internet. Yeah, and also there are other notable literatures that I came up during this my work. That in 2014, Laura Perdue came up with a book called Internet Addiction, where she referred to some of the words. Today, these are very familiar. Most of us have this phantom vibration syndrome. That is, of course, now we don't have because we all are online, studying online on the phone. Imagine you are on a meeting where you are supposed to put your mobile phone on silent, and in the due course of the meeting, suddenly you feel that as if your mobile is vibrating. But it is not vibrating, or it is not, you're not getting any calls, but still you feel that there is a vibration on your phone. You are checking whether there is any notification. That is what she refers to phantom. Afraid, you get a sudden panic of when you don't have your phone in your pocket. What if somebody has taken it, or somebody has opened it and checking it? All those things. And words like sexting, shopaholics, and popcorn brain. So the more and more of information overload that actually fries our brain is what she's quoted in a with. And there was one book by Rosen called Eye Disorder, where he noted how this technology is creating obsessions, are creating disorders in us. And he also referred to so many things are there. And also he said one important thing that he quoted in that book with anxiety, mood disorders, eye disorders is actually more causing more harm to their conditions. So and then in 2014, there was an issue in the week where they have in India, they quoted a lot of negative consequences due to excessive internet use, where one person is like, where there was one lawyer he stood up on a chair, he was tied a rope on a fan, and he was trying to take a photo as if he is taken selfie, different selfie. Unfortunately, he got he lost his balance and just hanged on, and caused him to death. So irrespective of age, irrespective of your education, you lose your sense, and you get into the consequences have been reported. And by the time in 2014, they were at that time, that is 7 years before, there have been de-addiction centers, internet de-addiction centers in Pune and Mumbai. So this is all not new for today. And there was one issue in Time in US, where they after this emergence of selfie, the culture of selfie and many things, this internet, how people have turned into tendencies, and now in fact they call the present generation as the me generation, where they focus on. So the same Tapscott who portrayed much goodness about the present generation, also came up with a dark side, saying the dark side of the present generation, as they are violating a lot of intellectual property rights. Yes, we are now downloading music, many things from the internet without giving them citing the sources, giving them credits. And a lot of bullying crimes are growing a lot world over, and where the present generation are involving. And today's generation, people have lost work ethics. They watch a lot of porn. For one instance is they would watch pornographies at office during work hours. All these things are happening. And so why there are plus, and so many things are there. And also one important thing that he quoted in that book was that people who are already vulnerable with certain disorders like anxiety, mood disorders, have they are more vulnerable towards eye disorder, or excessive use of internet is actually more causing more harm to their conditions. So and then in 2014, there was an issue in week where they have in India, they quoted a lot of negative consequences due to excessive internet use. Where one person is like, where there was one lawyer who was age 40, who wanted to take a different selfie. He stood up on a chair, he was tied a rope on a fan, and he was trying to take a photo as if he is taken different selfie. Unfortunately, he got he lost his balance and just hanged on, and caused him to death. So irrespective of age, irrespective of your education, you lose your sense, and you get into such traps. So such internet consequences have been reported. And by the time in 2014, they were at that time, that is 7 years before, there have been de-addiction centers, internet de-addiction centers in Pune and Mumbai. So this is all not new for today. And there was one issue in Time in US, where they quoted many instances like how after this emergence of selfie, the culture of selfie and many things, this internet, how people have turned into have developed this narcissistic tendencies. And now in fact they called it the present generation as the me generation, where they focus only on them only. And so the same Tapscott who portrayed much goodness about the present generation, also came up with a dark side, saying the dark side of the present generation, as they are violating a lot of intellectual property rights. Yes, we are now downloading music, many things from the internet without giving them citing the sources, giving them credits. And a lot of bullying crimes are growing a lot world over, and where the present generation are involving. And young today's generation, today people have lost work ethics. There is that is they in fact they watch a lot of porn. For one instance is they would watch pornographies at office during work hours. All these things are happening. And so why there are plus and there are minus when we talk about the internet usage. Now what is this usage of internet today? Near about over 5 billion users are there worldwide. That is the population is 7.5 billion something, of which 5.5 over 5 billion are internet users, wherein more than half of it are Asians. So Asians are the most internet users globally, of which Indians are 750 million and Sri Lanka is just 0.3% of the total internet users. Of course, the Indian Sri Lankan population is also way less. I think it is close to 21 million, 22 million population in Sri Lanka. So this is how internet use is distributed worldwide. Why this many internet users are there? In fact, once Mark Zuckerman said that if the population of if Facebook is considered as village, if Facebook is considered as a village, then the population of the Facebook is much larger than Europe and Asia. So that is what he said. So the most populated country would be Facebook. If Facebook is a country or village, it will be the most populated. That's what he said. So why people are using internet at large? So these are the reasons. These could be the reasons for which, of course, many people who are wanted to take study research on internet may make use of these slides that I have. And of course, I have shared it to Mura. You can make use of it. And people are using internet, especially internet is used because of its anonymity. The first and foremost reason, there are many reasons. The anonymity comes first. Anonymity, that is, people don't know who you are. You can safely browse on the internet because there's no identity who is doing that. You can definitely hide your identity. And then escape from stress. Sometimes people use internet, especially social networking sites and pornographies, videos, YouTubes, all those things to de-stress themselves. And procrastination. Sometimes you use internet to procrastinate yourself from many deadlines or some difficult tasks. Internet can be used as a self medication, where you can de-stress yourself. You can find information of how to cope yourself from life hassles, everything. So it's a self medication. There is a lot of free time available, and there's no monitoring. Especially there's no monitoring. You can't be monitored all the time when you're on internet. Internet helps you to attain sexual fulfillment. The concept of avatar came much popular after this internet, where you can create your own identity, an identity for yourself, or you can create multiple identities for yourself, an identity which you may not be the true of you, an identity which you've been hiding for in the society, in the reality, where you can create such identity in the virtual world. And internet is easily accessible. Through internet you can develop intimacy. You can develop intimacy with a person online, the intimacy which you may have inhibitions to create when you're offline. And the online content, it is intensive, whatever information that you have, A to Z of it, so it is much intensive and easily accessible than going in search of information from a library or from a university, from a school or anywhere. And internet is affordable. Today internet is affordable. Every people who have a cell phone, they have a cell phone service. They have the 1 GB or 2 GB free every day. So that way it is very easy, and is affordable for us all. And the internet connects every one of us closer. Today, The distance between Tirunelveli and Sri Lanka is many kilometers. More than probably it is 500, 600 kilometers, and you have to travel overseas. But now today we are connected. We are closer. You are able to hear me well. You are able to see me closer. Now, internet is responsible for that. So you get the feeling of being on a global home. So on an internet, in your home, you are connected globally. So you are connected globally with everybody around the world. You can see everybody inside your internet. So it becomes a global home. You have freedom. You don't have boundaries. And you have the freedom to realize sexual fantasies. And apart from all these things, very importantly, people use internet. You use internet also for one reason, because they're not able to come out of it. So there are some chats. Sometimes you are in WhatsApp. You get into WhatsApp and you're not able to come out of it because of bombardment of information and videos. And likewise in Facebook, you keep scrolling, and the information keeps coming up. So it's hard for you to take a break. That's why we take our cell phones even when we go for pee, and on our restrooms we use it. So, but what happens in reality? The reality. This is another reality part where excessive internet usage becomes a nightmare for many of us. There has been proven that academic performance has declined. Many behavioral problems are arising, and there is our health and well-being is decreasing. Our elders have been much more healthier than us today. Internet is also one of the major reasons for the decline of our lifespan. We age faster, and there is a problem with we develop problems with relationships, either because we are too much on the internet, or because of the internet we are not able to. So there are many even fatal consequences. Some you would have come across for instance, you've come across with on the news about people who have fallen from heights, like from a hilltop, because of taking selfie and all. So these are fatal consequences happening because of the internet. Lack of communication, people are getting disconnected. Today we are all well connected on the internet, but we are not. We have a far distance from those who are next to us, who are on the same. We live on the same. We live as aliens or as strangers on the same house. That is happening. Children are unsupervised these days, and they are also victimized because of many online hacking and stuff. And gradually we are losing reality. Today we are becoming abnormals because of this internet. So internet overuse goes with different terminologies. Next time you read all these words, it all refers to internet addiction. Internet addiction, addiction disorder, pathological internet use, problematic internet use, internet overuse, compulsive internet use, and excessive internet use. Internet addiction, the word internet addiction was first framed by Young and Goldberg. They were the pioneers who gave this word internet addiction, and they have referred it with, they have similarized with gambling disorder. And when we talk about internet addiction, these are components or types or areas where internet addiction is there. Cybersexual, where you are more obsessed with internet of having sexual contents, and cyber relational, where you are more addicted towards social networking sites like Insta, Facebook, chat rooms and all. Net compulsions, where you are addicted to online games like Warcraft, PUBG, and online rummy, Amazon, eBay, all those things, and you're not able to come out of it. You keep thinking about it. And information overload, you keep surfing about some information too much. Sometimes it happens that you keep surfing about one particular information that you are stuck on it. Computer addiction, where having pre-programmed games, that's also a computer addiction, like playing cards on the internet, on the computer. Now, when we talk about internet addiction disorder, looking at the addiction perspective. Now, this is where we look at the addiction perspective. If it is an addiction, if it is a clinical disorder, or if it's a clinical disorder or a psychopathology, then how could we diagnose it? A maladaptive pattern of internet use. See, this is how Young and Goldberg have framed from this from this gambling disorder. Now, gambling disorder has been approved as clinical disorder in DSM-4, whereas internet is not approved as a clinical disorder DSM-4, but they have taken up with that gambling. So it resembles much closer with gambling. So that's how. In fact, this is how any substance use disorders will be diagnosed as, categorized as. So a maladaptive pattern of internet use leading to clinically significant impairment or distress. It is causing distress, which is manifested by three of the following, which will be there. You will be experiencing in this in the past 1 year. Now, with regards to internet, it may be happening in the past 3 months itself. You develop a tolerance. Tolerance meaning that you are wanting more and more of it. To get you at the first time when you are the first day when you are accessing Facebook, probably within 10 or 15 minutes you would have had that euphoria, elation of mood. You would have had a good your mood, an elated mood. That is, you would have felt a lot of pleasure in 10 minutes. But over a period of time, it may take you 1 or 2 hours to get that, to seek that pleasure, satisfaction. Markedly diminished effect with the continued use of the same amount of time on internet. Next time you're using just for 10 minutes, it does not give you that pleasure. You're wanting more and more of it. Withdrawal. Withdrawal is where when you stop it, what happens when you're not on the internet, when you're not using it, when you're not on the Facebook, what happens? So, so 2 or more of the following developing within several days or to a month. In fact, in the case of internet, it's just in 1 or 2 days you will feel this. There is a psychomotor agitation where you can see from the pictures, you have anxiety. What if somebody has given you some important message on the WhatsApp or on the Facebook? What if you miss it? What if somebody has given you like or comments on your photo that you have posted on the Facebook? So you are anxious to know whether some information, some comments have been received, some likes have been given, some dislikes have been happening there. So you are not much anxious when you're not on the internet. So you have a craving to get into this internet again as early as possible. Obsessive thinking about what is happening on internet. You dream, you fantasize about you are being online. When you're offline, you fantasize as if you are online. Voluntary or involuntary typing movements of the fingers. So all these things are there. The symptoms in criterion B cause distress. All these symptoms are causing you distress in your social, occupational, and even in your academic areas of function. Use of internet or a similar online service is engaged in to relieve or avoid withdrawal. So just to avoid such pressure, such tensions that is building in your mind, you go back to internet, using the internet. Internet is often accessed more often or for longer periods of time than was intended. So there is a persistent desire or unsuccessful efforts to cut down or control internet. You keep trying. You know that you are wasting a lot of time on the internet. You know that you have other important works. You have to play with your kids. You have to play with your friends, or you have to spend. You have to go to school, or you have an assignment to complete. But you are wasting a lot of time on the internet. You're trying to slow down or minimize, but still you fail. So that is the criterion 4. A great deal of time is spent in activities related to internet use. And because of this internet use, many of your important social, occupational, or recreational activities are given up. You don't go to parties or family functions or you fail to go to church or temples, or you have a weekly game to be played with your friends on the ground or on the court or on the swimming. You miss all those things just because you're wanting to access the Facebook or whatever. Internet use is continued despite knowledge of having a persistent or recurrent physical, social, occupational, or psychological problem. You know that you have problems on all these areas. In spite of that, you are using. You have you are unable to sleep properly. You don't get proper sleep. You have some you are some conflicts with your spouse, and morning you're not able to get up in the morning. You feel drowsy, you have an important meeting appointment, you know that in spite of that, use it. You neglect certain important activities, like you don't go for cooking or washing vessels or your clothes, or you have an appointment to finish. You are foregoing it because of this internet use. Sometimes some people even lose their jobs. So with that criteria, when you have one to three criteria, you are at risk. When you have more than you have at least four criteria, then you are critical, and you have more than four criteria of all those things, then you are having a chronic problem, internet addiction disorder. That means you have to focus on resolving it. Of course, there is another way of assessing yourself, evaluating your level of internet addiction, which is an internet addiction test, which is commonly used. It was developed by Kimberly Young, and it is available on the website. And also, it is a self-rated questionnaire where you can fill it and you can assess your levels. That is there in the website. So one thing we have to understand is that it is not a serious disorder. It is common. It is a very common thing. Only thing is what consequence it creates, it has to be worried about. So today it is a global problem. There are over 1 billion people affected with internet addiction. And in India, 1 in 4 teens are addicted. In China, they have declared internet addiction as they are the first country to declare internet addiction as a clinical disorder in 2008. And in South Korea, there are stringent rules because of many deaths and crimes that happened in South Korea. They even have a curfew, gaming curfew, where youngsters are not allowed to, children below 18 or cannot access internet from midnight to 6 a.m. So that's such things are there. So how do you know that, or how do you know that someone in your family is having a internet addiction disorder? See, the problem is there is a huge amount of denial. People do not accept, or they hide that they have the internet disorder. Like they may be doing a lot of shopping, online shopping. So by checking their financial conditions and their transactions, you can find out that they have a they are shopaholics, or people may be watching pornographies. They are addicted to pornographies, and they may hide it. So all these things, whether you're a counselor or a parent or a family members, these are the symptoms that you need to watch upon. Physical symptoms, like they may have dry eyes, they may have often they may report having headaches or migraines. They don't take bath, or they don't come for eating. They don't change their clothes. So sometimes because of this lockdown today, every child has a phone for themselves, where they are attending the class. But parents, we parents we have to go for work, where we have to work online, where we fail to monitor our children. But the very easier way to identify is when they will be in a room. When you enter in a room, you will have a pungent smell, very horrible smell, that itself denotes that they don't have a hygiene at their rooms. So that's because they are on the internet, too much on the internet. So that's it's time to control it. So then there's neglect in personal hygiene, irregular and unhealthy eating habits. They have disturbed sleep patterns. And there's something called carpal tunnel syndrome, which is a usual consequence of too much of internet use. And psychologically, there's a you feel that is only when you're online you feel better. Okay, but when you're offline, you feel having low mood, anxious, depression, and so that is an psychological indication. That's an obsessive thought or preoccupation about going back to the internet or going back online. You feel when you're offline, when the person is offline, the person feels empty, depressed, anxious, or irritable, and they're wanting to go back online. And lack of interest offline, your real life activity, they feel bored or the lack of interest on the real life activities. They have relationship issues. They deny that they are too much on the internet, and there is marked decline in their performances on whether it's on the job or in the family, the contributions in the family, towards reading books, towards preparing food for the children, to make household chores, all those. The performance is declining. These are the symptoms to be noted upon. Now, this is one important thing that we can we have to focus upon. Now, when you feel that you are if I am an internet addict, what do you need to do? I need to acknowledge, yes, I'm accessing too much of internet, and to an extent that many other routines are getting disturbed, to an extent that my brain is popped up, to an extent that I have physical problems, psychometric agitations are there, and to an extent that I become depressed, lethargic, I'm not focusing on my personal hygiene. So I admit it, I have this problem. So and another thing is, one thing we have to do, people with pornographic addiction, we have to realize that such persons are supporting crime indirectly. Then so that means, yes, we have to limit our access. Maybe we can have timers, we can seek the help of our parents or a spouse at our house to limit our access. Be transparent, talk freely, disclose to your spouse or a parent about what is happening. And maybe you can place your computer in a public space where everybody is able to watch it. Make sure let your cell phones be it is where your parent can read your cell phone. It's actually you are trying to help yourself by coming out of this internet addiction. And we always remember that there's a world out there without internet, and that world is very beautiful. And we have a lot of we are responsible, a lot of responsibilities to serve in the outside world. The nearest outside world is our home, where we have our parents, we have grandparents, elders at home, children at home, to whom we have to serve. Identify and be part of a self-help group that is working upon overcoming internet addiction. In fact, if you are relying on a support group or therapy, you choose an offline therapy than an online. And the support group or therapy should focus on making the person abstinent from the internet use. Change the person's environment. Wherever there is a chance of getting into internet, you try to change the environment. Probably cutting down the Wi-Fi at home and such things. And identify and change triggers. Whatever triggers that are making the person to fall back into internet, you identify it and change it. Develop social skills training. Help the person develop social skills training, where there is much more rewarding in the social group. Provide family and couples therapy, where relationship usually breaks when the person is internet addicted. And for like any other substance abuse, there is a relapse which will happen. You try to identify the possible relapse and try to cut it down. Looking from the therapeutic part, the cognitive behavior therapy, like every other problems, the cognitive behavior therapy works well, even for internet addiction, where the focus is first at the behavior level, focus on all those behaviors that are causing this great difficulty, and do a functional behavior analysis. And then cognitive distortions at the thought level, from behavior level moving on to the thought level. What are the cognitive distortions that are making the person to be addicted? Identify and monitor those thoughts that trigger the addictive feelings, and then most importantly help the person develop problem solving skills, where the problem is this online behavior, internet behavior, and the skill is focused on overcoming that problems. Coping strategies training, modeling, in making the person involved in support groups, be part of support groups, tracking progress through journals, and also making the person involved in certain recreational groups like cycling, people who are involved in trekking and all. And remember, there are comorbidities. People with mood disorders, anxiety disorders, impulse control disorders, people with substance misuse disorder, narcissism also do involve in a lot of internet addiction. So this also need to be addressed when we're looking at internet addiction disorder. Having an internet safety at home and at workplace. Set ground rules for internet use. Where if you're in a home, if there are children at your home, it's very important to set ground rules for their internet use. They may be even in their classes, they may be even having classes online, still you have to set ground rules. And when you set ground rules, we have to remember that it applies even for us. So that is, we prevent or restrict our child from using the cell phones or internet at particular time, but we are binging on it is not right. So set parental controls, set a time limit. Having an internet free night time is always good. No matter what, it is very good. And we as long as we have control over it, we use it. But if we feel that we are addicted to it, it is advisable not to use internet during nights. And communicate non-judgmentally with the children. There are many softwares which filter internets and applications which are not viewable. So you can install such things in your cell phone and internet. Focusing on the spiritual health. It works well. Focusing on the spiritual health works well, where you can meditate, you can worship, you can pray to God. Don't feel guilty. It's not you feel guilty where you surrender to God to help in coming out of internet addiction. Of course, you can do that, but more importantly, you pray God for where you show gratitude. Your prayer should be a mode of gratitude, where the more of gratitude, the more it adds meaning to your life, and therefore you're spiritually strong. And when you are spiritually strong, all these things become trivial. And very importantly, value a relationship with your spouse. That is more important than the internets. And when you know that you are internet addicted, you have to change your physical core, your physical activity. You have to change your routine. Like for example, morning, first thing when you wake up, you check your phone or your WhatsApp or Facebook. The next time you can avoid that. You keep your phone on another room. And morning when you get up, you go, you take bath, you have your breakfast, and then after half an hour you touch your phone. So remember, your life is more important than all other information or appointments that are there on the cell phone. You can try involving in activities that are not usually, that you do not do usually regularly. For instance, I have a video here where I can I wanted to demonstrate this kind of activities.
நான் இப்போ ஒரு புது லிஸ்ட கண்டுபிடிச்சு வந்திருக்கேன். அது வாங்க நீ செய்வியா? என்ன லிஸ்ட? செய் பாப்போம். நீ செய்வியோ? ஓஹோ, பாரு. திங்கள் செவ்வாய் புதன் வியாழன் வெள்ளி, சனி ஞாயிறு திங்கள் செவ்வாய் புதன் வியாழன் வெள்ளி, சனி ஞாயிறு திங்கள் செவ்வாய் புதன் வியாழன். இந்த மாதிரி மூக்கையும் காதையை பிடிக்கணும் சொல்லிட்டு. பெரிய பிரமாத வித்தையா? ஐயா பாப்பா நான் செய்யறேன் பாரு. திங்கள் செவ்வாய் புதன் வியாழன் திங்கள் செவ்வாய் புதன் வியாழன் வரமாட்டேங்குதே இரு ஆண்டுதான் கேளு திங்கள் செவ்வாய் புதன் வியாழன் வெள்ளி திங்கள்
Okay, so for the students especially, and of course for everybody of us, this is one task for you. I want you all to try this out, and maybe you can record it, and if you're successful, you can record it and share it to me. Of course, my mail ID is there, my phone number is there. You can share it to me, or you can share it to Professor Asha or Mura, who can also share it to me. This is your homework for my session. Okay, so it is very interesting. You can try it. You can try it and see. You can share how you experience about your experiences. And this is probably my conclusion here. Well, this is all these are probably many of us would have seen it. Okay, so thank you very much for patiently listening to my session. And so what I did in my session is I was trying to tell you how internet has changed the world, our world, and what happens when we are using too much of our internet, and how to overcome this. There are some of the strategies I've told, and of course each one has different experiences. Each one can come out with their own style of looking at the internet disorders. And so that is what I believe I understand about from this thing. And so this slide will be of information about how to view internet from the addiction perspective, and how the strategies to come out of it. Thank you very much. And if you have questions, of course you can ask me.
Thank you very much for this insightful lecture, sir. And the forum is open to the audience now. You may ask questions if there is anything to be asked, and also you can comment on the lecture if needed.
My students are participating in this class, and don't worry if you have any problem, and you can put on to professor and he will answer to you, because we organize this program especially for my student. Yeah.
So I have a question. Like during quarantine, like even I tried to stay away from the internet as much as possible. Like 2 weeks max, I was out of it. I just deleted all of my apps and everything. But then I felt like even in this context, even though you delete like the apps and you try to avoid using the internet, important messages come through the internet. Like even my lectures and assignments and all, we are supposed to do it through the internet. So in that context, is this internet addiction possible? I mean, is it possible to avoid it? Like, as in, even though you try to do it, the world tells you to sort of engage in in that platform. So however much you try in this present context, it's hard. So how is it possible to avoid in such situations?
Thank you, Anu. Yes, what you say is very true. Like, in fact, I too tried to. I've been trying to uninstall WhatsApp. Yes, but it's not possible because WhatsApp today has become an education tool. In fact, I will say that is an education tool where everybody communicates their academic information or even official information through WhatsApp. Yes, it connects. And no, some people even say that it's a sixth finger. So we can't cut away our fingers. So it is the sixth finger. For cell phone today has become a sixth finger. And so in that case, yeah, definitely it is not possible. Probably. Now again, you said that you have uninstalled many apps, and you have quarantined yourself from the cell phone for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks again you are getting probably you have to differentiate. We have to differentiate everything. Like it is like a knife. We have a knife can be used for cutting vegetables, it can be used for cutting our throats. So how you are going to use it may be tempting sometimes for some people, like how this internet today's cell phone is tempting for many of us. For some people, even the knife is tempting. So it is so tempting that they used to cut insects, animals, because they have that impulsion. Now you need to understand, yes, I do have this. It's just like the knife. So a cell phone is it's very good. It has a multiple purpose. It serves for many information, academic, official purposes. It helps us to connect socially, yes. But at the same time, the problem is where you have to monitor and evaluate yourself whether you are using it too much. You are using it for the purpose which is not intended, which you are not intended to do it. You have to do a self-assessment. And for that, when you understand that you are using way much than intended, or when you are using for unintentional purposes, then you have to keep it a check. You can time yourself. You can time your use of internet, when you're using, how long you're using, that you can time it. And then you can self-reward yourself. You can appreciate yourself when you do it properly. It is like how you have your you plan your everyday course, everyday appointments. You also plan for your cell phone usage or your internet usage. When you do it, definitely it is possible for you. And also, more importantly, your idle time or your leisure time. Your idle and leisure time is very, very important. That is the major thing that kills you, that will actually make you impulsive towards your cell phone. Now you have to make it meaningful. So if you have understood, as long as you are not an internet freak, or as long as you are not an addict, cell phone addict, it's fine. But when you know that you are an addict, suppose I'm not saying you're an addict, but if you feel that you're addict, you are becoming using it excessively, impulsively, then that means you have to make sure that you are utilizing your free time, your leisure time properly, meaningfully. That way, or at least you make somebody have control on your leisure or free time. That way you can safeguard yourself, protect yourself from falling into that trap. So this is something that I feel. Of course, you may have other brighter ideas. Hope I answered your question, Anu. In work from home and learn from home, only through internet, we get the task to be performed. Sometimes we get confused. What is the task and wish to do it? And what status is the work? Why this confusion arises and what state of mind is that?
The thing is, sir, I want to say something. We get several tasks, and our brain is allocating each task by task. While doing a task, we get another task, and then we are doing that task, we are getting another task. At some time, we get n number of tasks, but at the end of the day, we didn't complete even one task. We are in a confused state. Why this thing is happening in our mind?
Okay. Sir, Ratnakumar is my student. I wanted to mention here, he's one of my university student, and he is also masters in cyber security. In fact, he can in fact throw more light on cyber security, internet safety. And so Ratnakumar here, உங்களோட question என்னன்னா, too much of tasks. Sometimes you get a lot of tasks. அந்த டாஸ்க்ல வந்து ஒரு டாஸ்க் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கும்போது you get another task. Like what I feel is, இந்த மாதிரி we all have it. See, இப்போ for example, இப்போ சொல்லணும்னா I have a screen background, ஒரு screen background கொடுத்திருக்கேன். That I have given it because my office space would look with lot of books and papers, நிறைய files இருக்கும். Just to avoid it, அது ரொம்ப ugly தெரியும். Okay, it may look ugly for the viewers. That is why I have this background, because there are a lot of things piling up. Many things pile up in our workspace, at our home. ஏதாவது tasks like assignments, ஒரு assignment, immediately another assignment, another test. Every task may have it. And we also have tasks to be completed at home, at our other active non-academic responsibilities இருக்கும்ல. Now, என்னோட suggestion தான். What I suggest is, or what I am doing is, morning I always have this small notepad மாதிரி இருக்கும். I have a notepad where இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு notepad இருக்கு. Okay, this notepadல வந்து today's task அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு I list it out and then I prioritize பண்றேன், which one to be done first, which one next அப்படின்னு prioritize பண்ணிட்டு and then I do it. Sometimes what happens is sometimes many times I will not be able to complete all the tasks, and it's there are some in the notebook there are some tasks which I have listed out or 1 or 2 weeks before and I'll store பண்ணிருக்கேன். There are such tasks to 1 month tasks கூட sometimes are there. That happens sometimes, அது மாதிரி ஆகும். But very importantly, something that is immediate, something that is urgent, something that is very important, அது வந்து first முடிச்சிருவேன். அதை I always make sure அது முடியும். So இன்னைக்கு வந்து if not able to do all the tasks, at least I am doing it. That which is most important, which is immediate, I do it. அதுக்கப்புறமா I space it. So there are some tasks which will definitely நம்மளால பண்ண முடியாம we will feel. What we have to do is we need to delegate such tasks. சில விஷயம் என்னால பண்ண முடியலனா I have to delegate it to others. அந்த மாதிரியான சில டாஸ்க் இருக்கும், நம்ம இல்லாம மத்தவங்க பண்ண முடியும், நமக்காக மத்தவங்க பண்றாங்க பண்ணதுக்கு it is meaningful அப்படினா அந்த மாதிரி work I try to delegate it. So அந்த மாதிரி and also remember, also I feel is நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்னா I keep getting a lot of tasks. அந்த டாஸ்க்கை வந்து I will identify first சில டாஸ்க்லாம் வந்து நான் பண்ண வேண்டிய அவசியமே இல்லை. There are some tasks which I don't have to do at all. பண்ணவே தேவையில்லைன்னா it's better not to commit it. Okay, so அப்படி I have to make myself clear about it. அப்படி பண்ணா probably that is very important. And another thing is, நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி when you get too many tasks to எதை பண்றது எல்லாம் குழப்பமா இருக்கு, I'm in a state of confusion அப்படின்னா that means I'm not at peace. Better I move out from the cell phone, or from that I take a walk. I do some breathing பண்றேன், take a walk பண்றேன். I go to a space where there are positiveness இருக்கு, relax பண்ணிக்கிறேன். And then when I'm all right and my confusion is free, then I get back to what are the tasks that are there in my hand. This is what I've been doing. இதுதான் நான் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கேன்.
Professor, there is another question in the chat box which was written by the Piyumi. He's saying that thank you very much for this insightful session. What I want to ask is, how should we manage our internet usage during this pandemic period? Because it seems like we cannot go further without internet. With this situation, could you share some tips for managing internet usage as a student?
Okay. Piyumi, there is in Tamil there is someone saying that எங்கும் நீக்கமர நிறைந்திருக்கும் அப்படினோ, that is the God is everywhere. Also there is one the God is in the pillar, even on the small dust he is there small. Likewise, internet is all over you, all over us. It is all over us. You cannot be away from the internet, and especially in this pandemic period, everything becomes internet. Sometimes we want food, we have to rely on the Zomato or Swiggy for the internet for food. We need to rely upon the internet for medicines, for our classes, even like that. It is for everything we have the internet. So in this pandemic period, it is so intense. It is so intense that sometimes we feel like as if we are living in some virtual world. We are not actually living in the world, real world. Yes, I understand that is happening. That is happening for all of us. So how do we manage our internet usage? Of course, you have to time yourself. Like for example, if today's class you can't miss out. Of course, definitely Asha madam would have told you that you should compulsorily attend. If you attend, that means you may not get your internal marks, or you may not get your attendance and something. Like that, there are sessions that are compulsory that you have to attend. Yes, there are sessions where you can take a break. There are things, there are internet things that you can take a break. Again, when you want to take a break, like you are on a 2-hour continuous class session, after that, when you take a break, you have to take a real break. That is, when we say break means going into Facebook to check your status or videos or the WhatsApp. That is not the break. When you are in a continuous internet session, that means when you take a break means you are coming out of this internet and you are interacting with your family members, your parents, your friends on the real space. Or if nobody is there, you may have pet at home. You can be with the pet, you can enjoy with the pet. Or if the pet is not there, what I do is I do go get into the kitchen. Sometimes I do some snacks, prepare some snacks, and I enjoy it and share it. All my guinea pigs I have at my home. My wife is there, my in-laws are there, to whom I share all those kandravi recipes that I make and share it. And that way, whatever it is, it makes me relax. So likewise, we have to manage it. Managing internet is a global crisis today. It's a global challenge. The doubt that you're asking is a global challenge across the world. Even a student at Harvard University or at the Cambridge University has this problem. A student at our local school, government school, or KG school has this problem. So everybody is having this problem. Morning, first thing that we get up, do after we get up and finish our course, very importantly, it's very important that we should take bath in the morning, because today we don't have time even to take bath. Once we get into the class, that's it. We're not able to come out. So it's better that when you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, have bath, and then finish your breakfast, have something, and then get into internet class. So this is the major challenge that many of us have today. So that's how that, and then before getting into class, maybe 10 minutes you dedicate. What are the things on the internet that we have today, and what are the timing that we have to set it to finish it and move proceed. So these things can be done. Probably that's how I will suggest you to manage.
Yes, sir. I would like to add something for your
please.
comment, because in the modern day, we cannot away from this internet, because right now we are having this sort of lecture because of the facility of internet. But in this session, what I expect, because as a student, as a researcher, as well for the normal people, we should not addicted to that. That is why we tag the today topic as a internet addiction and addiction psychological perspectives. So there are certain limited, because we have to manage our life, as professor mentioned. So especially for the young generation, they are very extremely addicted for the certain internet unwanted things. So we will have to manage that, and then we will have to access for the important things which are relevant for our work and all. As well, we will have to give a space for our personal life and rest for our mind. So I think the professor make a very good presentation, and still if someone want to put a question for professor, I think the professor will give another few minutes for us.
Sure, madam. No issues.
Yeah, is there any other question in the chat box?
Yeah, I think I'm getting some questions.
Right, there are good comments there, sir. And if it is still for the questions, time is available for you.
So in your first slide, you mentioned about Gen Zs, where their literacy rate is very high because of the internet usage. However, is it a fact, as in, does the literacy rate count as in you knowing how to use the internet, or as in even though people know how to use the internet, they don't know like actual knowledge. So does that not count as the literacy rate? Doesn't just because they know how to manage the internet, does that mean that literacy rate is very high? I mean, talking regarding the Gen Zs.
Yeah. Gen Z. I actually didn't get clear about this your question. Can you come again?
As in the first slide, you said that in the present context, because the Gen Zs are using the internet, their literacy rate is very high, as in higher than before. That's what I got it. That's what I grasped. So, but
What
then
is
again,
high?
when you
What is
showed
high
the
in them? Sorry, what is high in them?
the literacy rate, as in how they manage, how they use the internet and everything, just because of that. But then
Okay.
again, if you really talk with the young crowd today, they actually, when it comes to literacy, all they know is how to browse Facebook or do TikToks or search the web. Does that count as literacy, as in knowing how to search the web and how to search things and stuff? Yeah, does that count as literacy, or the literacy rate, does it matter like actual knowledge?
See, literacy rate is today it is high. Literacy rate today is high all over, and especially with this technology, we are able to reach out to many people to whom literacy was not able to be reachable, was not reachable to them. But that doesn't mean because Gen Zs are smarter. See, I would say the internet is a blessing in disguise. Internet is a blessing in disguise. So you have information, wealth of information on the internet. But what you read on the internet, what you see on the internet, that matters a lot. So youngsters, Net Z are very good in accessing internet. They in fact, that's all. We even see a baby which comes out of the mother's womb is using the cell phone or asking for Wi-Fi. So that's it says that yes, the children and youngsters today are they are much knowledgeable in using the internet. In fact, that's how the apps are all developed and customized. But that doesn't mean their literacy is superior. The quality of their knowledge, the quality of the knowledge matters. That matters a lot. The youngsters who are very good in internet access, they fail to acquire knowledge that are relevant. They fail to acquire knowledge that are socio-economically useful to them. So that there they fail. In fact, they say, in fact, there are research studies which says that the youngsters today are not socially responsible. That you can see, the very evident is the you can look upon is the voting. Of course, today the rate of voting has increased, but still, who is not voting? The percentage of population which is not voting is the youngsters, and especially the Net Z people. Those in the age group of 18 to 30 are voting less than compared to the others. That itself is a proof that they are not. We may say that today there are from internet we know a lot, but they're very basic information about our rights, about our voting right. The need for vote is not experienced or exercised by the youngsters. It itself is a typical, I would say it's a typical example of the quality of knowledge that they are taking it. You see, internet is providing everything. Internet is neutral. It provides everything. But what you take from it, it depends on you, on who you are. So there is where the failure happens. Okay, so that is what I feel, Anu.
Professor Yuvaraj,
Yes,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your valuable, factual, and statistical and sophisticated information what you have shared with my student and the other, because this forum is not only for my student, then this is open for who interest for join for the philosophical discussion in our department. And this is the first program we have organized, and you became a resource person for us, and thank you very much. And the other thing is, I want to tell you, in our department now we are running a separate diploma on addiction psychology itself, and we hope to develop the addiction psychology in our department in the future much more. And we need your support, we need your help. And as well, I hope really the India will recover very soon, and we are worried and we are praying to survive the Indian people with this corona pandemic. And thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much. Yes, that's a real need of the hour. Yes, please pray for us. And yeah, we are of course, this second wave is so
Yes.
frightening for everybody. It's so we all are unsafe. That question, we are all unsafe. And yes, we are all staying home. Staying home is the safest thing now. And likewise, I also pray for all of you in Sri Lanka that yes, as you said, we will definitely fight and recover from this pandemic. And of course, I congratulate your department and for this diploma course. And definitely, I will be of whatever support possible. From definitely, I will be of support to you, and prayers for you all. Yes, definitely. There are also other questions which maybe in future, maybe I will read out all the questions later, and I will share those whatever knowledge that I have with me to you later. And thank you each and everyone for giving for this discussion. And thank you very much. Definitely, I will also be calling you, ma'am, for a session in our department shortly.
Okay.
And please give us the privilege of hosting you in our department.
Yeah, actually, Dr. Yuvaraj,
yes,
as a students, we are so grateful for your immense contribution on this conducting this lecture about internet addiction.
Thanks.
So this pandemic situation, so it is very useful topic for this generation who was present today. So please accept our thanks on behalf of the Department of Philosophy and Psychology of the University of Jayewardenepura, Sri Lanka. And also I want to thank our Department of Philosophy and Psychology for organizing valuable lectures like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Okay, sir. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Professor Yuvaraj.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Khan.